Hello everybody, welcome back to my LP of the Power Rangers movie, the game for the Sega Genesis, and this is part 2, and we're going to stage 2. Alright, music's over. Why not? Those live action faces look just awful. I do like they have character yells for everybody. That's kind of interesting, I guess. So I talked about beat 'em ups not really being my forte in episode 1. And while that's still true, a few days later it's still true, what a surprise. I did play some as a kid. For the system here, the Sega Genesis, I remember playing Streets of Rage. I think maybe the first 2 Streets of Rage games. Wasn't super great at them, but it was something different, I suppose, so I got into it a little bit. And also Golden Axe, 1 and 2, I believe. Which was more, you're carrying a weapon around, you have limited magic, and you're staying alive. But it's still a beat 'em up in its nature, you know. We need a hero. That's interesting signage there. Bar, restaurant, cafe, place, whatever you are. I think after Ivan Ooze took over, they just remodeled their sign to say we need a hero. Hoping one of these assholes that are driving super fast down the road will pass by and they'll be like, you know what? I'm feeling heroic today. Who knows though. But yeah, those are really the only 2 beat 'em ups I remember playing that I can think of right now off the top of my head anyhow. And of course that's Scott Pilgrim, which is great, but still, even with 4 people playing at level 1 difficulty, it takes forever to beat a level. That's one of my gripes, I guess, with beat 'em ups too. The time that it can take to complete things is never really set well with me, especially as a kid. I think that's one of the reasons why I didn't play it. Like, if you look at the Sonic playthrough and a few of the other games I've uploaded, like, or that I will be uploading, you'll see they're speedy. Because as a kid, I had a pretty serious case of ADHD. I suppose I still have it, but it's really in check now. But my mind couldn't focus on anything. So the action had to be fast-paced, which, hence Sonic, you know, being one of my first games and all that. And I guess video games in general are pretty visually stimulating, though, so it kept me well enough. But, like, you know what? There might not be any real theory behind that, though, because I do remember, like, playing, like, Columns and Tetris as a kid. It's funny, Lennon from Multiplayer and Lennon Free Comedy, and obviously one of my closest friends, asked me once when he was thinking of doing LPs for his channel, what's like your favorite old school Game Boy game? And after giving serious consideration to it, my truthful answer was Tetris. So you can be motivated by the old stuff. I guess it doesn't have to be super fast-paced. As long as it was a video game, my eyes were being entertained. I was probably okay with everything else. Also, stories really couldn't be that long before the PlayStation era. Like Super Nintendo and Nintendo, like the Final Fantasy games and all those had a decently long story, and the Zeldas and all that, but I don't know, it seemed by and large games were more or less viewed as games instead of like artwork / stories, which would make sense because, you know, with limited technology you have limited potential, really, I guess would be the way to say it. course, the ones that were treated like as their own standalone stories and not just as like, oh, for lack of a better term, a waste of time, were the retro games that are played today, like your Zeldas, your Final Fantasies, hell, even your Marios, really, because there was, unless you're playing, there are so many classic titles that are out there that people wouldn't really be about anymore. But those are the ones that'll last because they did the best with their limited technology. And then the stories are just solid too, so. But I wasn't even really about those as a kid. I was more into that. What? There's a point to all this? Yeah. I wasn't about it. I was more, like I said, into the fast-paced stuff like that. And look at that, levels completed. We need a hero. Maybe one of those guys in the car can help you out. And here's the big menacing shot that used to be in the TV show of like the monsters towering over. Took a while to figure out. It was just like a camera trick, really, but you know, the game stays faithful to that. Ninja Megazord or Falcon Zord? Ninja Megazord is. Music's okay in this game. I know I said it before, but I just might be a fan of Genesis music in general. Though it's not to say I don't like the old Nintendo stuff too. I just like video game music. How about that? And he has the Tatsumaki Senpukyaku, if I'm saying that right. The spinny kick from Street Fighter. How do I know that's the name of the spinny kick? The actual name of the spinny kick? When everyone else just knows Hadouken and Shoryuken? Because I play Marvel vs. Capcom, goddammit. It's kind of hard to not know the names when people just call it out when using it, you know? Or it's part of a good combo. Giant Robot Battle has, well, I wouldn't say slower, because it does have a good speed to it, but you have such a limited range of moves you can use, it's just kind of, you know, not as interesting as it could be, I don't think. He just walks away. I've had enough. I'm out. Screw you guys. I'm going back to commit evil deeds on another planet. I want to see if the time counter is actually a minute, because it feels like it's being a little longer. This is one of those things I'm noticing from watching it, but you know. Scorpatron. I do like the highway beside. It has no moving cars on it. Oh, never mind. I just saw the bridge was out. No one's there, though. No one will get hurt forever, because this is a Ham Saban title. Ham Saban. That's Power Rangers, by the way. That's. I guess everybody liked it at the end, because the Zords were always the real payoff of the show, so. Makes sense. Oh, I got this guy. I have his number. Alright, everybody. That has been part 2. Thank you. We'll see you in part 3. Stay tuned. Coming up next.